what I've had the chance to work on so far. I left everybody with my live with a coloring page that I had started on as my wallpaper background for the wine cabinet, which turns out isn't really a wine cabinet. As you'll see later on in here, the bottles are obviously liquor bottles of some sort. So I'm assuming this is some sort of vacation rec area. There are parts of the wall that have writing on it that I'm going to change eventually, so I'm going to have to come up with some names. Yeah, so let's move forward. I needed to paint some of these shelves. These are for the cabinet. And I also ended up doing some touch-up painting on some of the previous parts that belong to the walls around the interior room that were teal. Just retouching some stuff I had already worked on previously. The recording quality definitely could use some improvement. Apologies. I did not have a mount for my phone. I figured out how to do that later on. Very rainy day today, and heading back into the work week tomorrow with still storms ahead, so not looking forward to that. Here I am using Mod Podge for the wine cabinet background. This will help keep the colors saved. It'll be a decoupage kind of covering, waterproof, just to keep everything up for long amounts of time, should this be displayed for however many years. Since my paper background was in fact paper with just paint pen on it, it's best to cover it with something to keep up the integrity of the material. I did end up losing a lot of video. I was unable to capture everything. I had lost parts of it through my phone. I don't have a lot of memory, so I've been having to learn along the way how to delete things I no longer need once a video is complete. And will in the future probably have to invest in something like a camera to do most of my bits of recording. Here I am making the computer monitor for the desk at the rec area. Lots of cutting required in these stages. I did try to speed up a lot of this video, otherwise I would have been like 40 minutes of me doing this. It will be easier to share the content now that I have more correct equipment in here to set up recording for longer periods of time rather than these little swatches that I've pieced together. Gluing this back piece onto the monitor was a little tricky. It didn't want to quite sit right, so in the end I ended up needing to turn to my UV resin as a finishing glue so I could hold it in the correct position. Moving on to art pieces that will be displayed in the wine cabinet. These were art photos that are required to be glued to the cardboard piece included in the kit and cut out so that they could be placed as tiny pictures on the shelf. I lost a lot of my bottle making video coverage, but here's some little splotches of it here and there. The beads were included in that one bag. However, they failed to supply me with the stems to the bottles. Those pieces were actually missing, which is something very common in these kits. Things can not be included at random, so being extra prepared with my materials, anything left over from other kits, beads, those types of supplies, I was able to pull out my own to make the stems to the bottles. The bottles, some of them, the stems were able to be inserted through the hole of the beads. Some of the holes to the beads were too small, so those that were too small had to be UV resin to keep the bottle intact. The desk area had to be repainted as well. It is teal. I did have some book pieces that had to be cut and folded, which I lost parts of my process to my phone not being able to transfer the videos again. Definitely have to fix that. And then from here on out, I was able to place my phone on a mount so I could show the process for the rest of this wall. Enjoy! that pretty much concludes everything I did so far up to this